Shut up and sit down.
Behind us is the 124 GT.
It's 170 horsepower, it's rear-wheel drive, and it's got a 6-speed manual too.
It's an absolute recipe for fun.
A Scorpion says it all.
It's also fairly practical, and it's also got a good level of equipment.
And it'll go sideways if you really want it to.
Haha.
And it's got a limited slip diff.
It's still a car that you can use every day.
Functional,
You can nip
practical.
to the shop.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not going to fit grandma and, a wardrobe in there, but
And just listen to its tone. And it retails for, what is it, about £34,000?
yeah, it's around there. Well, I'm going to be taking a look at the interior, the practicality.
I'm going to look at the exterior styling and get up close and personal why it's the GT. It may have something to do with that carbon fibre roof.
Then we'll both be driving it, and then we'll bring you our verdict on whether or not this is the car for you. For more great impartial car reviews, please subscribe to Planet Auto.
The Abarth speaks for itself. It's got aggressive, good looks. It looks brutal, but why not? Look at it. It's 170 horsepower and it growls like a wild animal. Now, some of the things that you're probably not expecting on a car like this are rain-sensing wipers, automatic headlamps. It's even got cruise control. Stepping round to the side of the vehicle, the first thing you'll notice is the Abarth symbol. Look at the lightning and the scorpion. You've also got 17-inch OZ Super Legera alloy wheels, Brembo brakes, Bilstein shocks, and wow, just look at the side of it. It's just things like the black and the greys, and it just looks absolutely immense. Now we're getting to the part where you think, well, how does the GT separate this from the original Abarth 124? Well, this, a full carbon fibre roof, and it will come off, so you've actually still got the canvas roof underneath. So, perfect. But it does look the part, doesn't it? Stepping around to the rear of the car, there is a reversing camera, parking sensors. And did I mention it's got a carbon fibre roof? You've also got this rear diffuser, there's another big Abarth symbol. You've also got 124 and the GT. And then just look at these quads. These are Monza dual record exhausts. And my word, they do sound the part. It sounds like, as I mentioned, an angry animal, but it's more like a bear rather than, well, you need to hear it for yourself.
Stepping into the Abarth 124 GT, the first thing you'll notice is the sporty feel. These race bucket seats with the Abarth name written along the top, the stitching on the dash, the leather wrap steering wheel, the short shift gearbox, the stitching on the handbrake. It feels very nice in here. When it comes to functionality, you have electric windows, electric door mirrors, automatic lights, automatic wipers, cruise control, your media controls on the steering wheel, and a basic fuel computer, DAB radio, Bluetooth sat-nav, and your climate control, your engine stop button, heated seats, a USB auxiliary port. My favourite part about this car is the sport switch just below the gear shifter. That makes the exhaust sound amazing, and it also makes the car a little bit more exciting. The rotary dial for the infotainment system is just below that. When it comes to practicality, I've got lots of headroom and lots of legroom. This seat is set up for me and Ben, and he can fit in here easily as well. The steering wheel has height adjustment, but there is no reach adjustment. To be honest, you don't really need it. All of the adjustment in the seat is done manually, but they are heated. When it comes to storage, there are no door bins, but you have a little storage area in the centre here for something like your keys, a little tray here for something like your phone. There is cup holders that are removable. They can be moved down here so that your passenger can have a cup holder. There is also a storage area here where you can have a big packet of crisps or something like that. And, well, there isn't a glove box, but that's why you get this little area here. Overall, for a two-seater sports car, this car is very well equipped, and I think it's reasonably practical as well. This carbon fibre roof does pop off. You will need two people to lift it off, but once that's been removed, you still have the fabric top. The Abarth GT really does turn heads, not only because of its striking good looks, but also because of that amazing exhaust note. Coming around to the boot of the car, you can open it using the key, or you can use the button on the boot lid. You're not going to fit a wardrobe, but you can fit some bags of shopping, a weekend away bag. To be honest, I've gone on a 4-day sort of long weekend away, and I was able to fit all of my stuff and the camera gear in the back of here. Okay, it was a bit of a squeeze. There is also an inflation kit back here as well. Now, the big selling point of the Abarth 124 is the exhaust. It makes an awesome sound.
Ha! 170 horsepower. Yes, you're probably asking yourself, what's the Abarth 124 like to drive? And the GT model at that. Well, it's got 170 horsepower. It's got the 1.4 turbocharged engine, and it can shift.
And it weighs just over a ton as well.
It just puts a constant grin on your face, doesn't it? Abarths have always driven like racing cars. You know, they've always been set up extremely well, and this, well, this doesn't differ at all, does it?
It's a recipe for excitement.
We've got Brembos, Bilstein.
And that 1.4 litre turbocharged engine produces a lot of power for a car that weighs just over a ton.
And you've got a limited slip diff, which is pretty handy.
And that,
because let's face it, you'd just be spinning all the way down the road otherwise.
at the end of the day, you have got 170 horsepower going through the back wheels.
Yes.
In something that weighs just over a ton.
Yes, which is basically hot hatch weight for the 1990s.
Yes.
So
you need to definitely be a driver to.
Ooh, a pop!
These.
Yes, and if you back off, it will pop and bang and scare wildlife.
People in neighbouring villages will be quivering in their boots.
Indeed. Why wouldn't you, under the might of the Abarth? But it still staggers me, it's only a 1.4.
Now, let's talk about the GT part of this car.
Yes.
This carbon fibre roof.
And OZ Super Legeras.
Oh yes, don't forget those. Now, the roof on the motorway does make it a little bit quieter. It makes it... it just gives you a little bit more of a refined experience. It is worth mentioning, though, you do need 2 people really to take it off.
That sounds like an Abarth dealership thing to me.
Yes, true.
But you can do it yourself. It's perfect for doing, you know, a long journey down the motorway with the hardtop, isn't it? But one thing to note is it will not muffle the exhaust tones. You can still hear it, so that's good. That's what we wanted.
Absolutely.
What's the point of having one of these and then muffling out all the exhaust tones?
That would be a crime.
It'd be a travesty, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. The ride, I don't think's too uncomfortable.
It's not uncomfortable. It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's set up to be a 2-seater sports car. It's like the early 124 that was, what was it, the 1970s?
Yes, it's you know, it has a purpose.
Oh yeah. It goes back to its heritage, doesn't it, with its tightness and the way it handles on those back legs.
But the ride isn't spine-shatteringly firm. No. You know, you can, like, I drove this car 3 hours up the motorway, and I was able to do it. You know,
I do a 12-hour drive in this without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I might not be able to climb out at the end of it, but I wouldn't care. It's
the ride, the steering is. That's spot on. You have a really good idea of where the car's going. It's weighty enough in the
it's
corners.
set up very well. That's it. You combine it with the dampers and the steering, and you point it somewhere, and it'll go. I mean, it may want to go sideways, but that's what you expect with a rear-wheel drive, isn't it?
Now, when I was driving it around the city as well, it wasn't too weighted. It wasn't too heavy to make it uncomfortable when in a multi-storey car park.
No. Oh no, they're very well set up, clear dials. I like the fact that you've got a red dial as well. I'm sure that heads towards the GT bit as well.
It's still very usable as an everyday car. All around visibility is very good as well.
Yeah, considering it's this small.
Well, that's it, because
easy to park.
And you have a good view over the bonnet.
Yes.
You do also have parking sensors if you want to use them.
Well, you've got your infotainment, you've got auto lights.
cruise control.
Yeah, rain sensitive wipers. It's very well teched out, isn't it? Considering it's technically a racing car.
Well, that's it. It's, you know, today it is a rather chilly day here in England, and we've got the heated seats on, the heating on, and it's, you know, it's a very nice place to be. Now, one thing that I really love about this car is the gearbox.
Oh, short shift heaven.
Yeah, with the short shift, the ratios are spot
6-speed
on.
manual as well.
Yes, it's divine.
Yeah, it feels like it's like a cross between a hot hatch and a racing car because it's so bang.
Yeah, it's on
It's
off.
solid, isn't it? Yeah, and there's, you know, hardly any movement in it.
There's no notchiness.
No.
It's really set up well. I'm so impressed.
You find yourself just looking for national speed limit signs.
To do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it is worth mentioning that if you are in the wrong gear, there isn't a lot of power on offer. To get optimal performance, you need to be in the right gear.
Yes. But saying that, if you plant it from standstill, it will spin and go, and then the LSD will kick in, and that's that. Ooh.
I'm trying to find things that I don't like about this car.
Well, one thing I thought it would be is economy, and it's not. I mean, what did you get to the gallon driving all the way from yours to here?
Well, from Nottingham to Leeds, I managed to get 40 miles per gallon. That was on the motorway. But I was very
impressed. The gallon, I think, is very good.
Yes, I do as well, considering my own Ford Fiesta doesn't get much above that on that trip.
Yeah, and this is a damn sight quicker.
And you can have a lot more fun.
You can. And just so everybody knows, we've not actually engaged sport mode yet, so this is all in normal mode. Sport mode does tighten everything up, and it makes it more responsive, and also it does amplify the sound on the exhaust.
I think it also gives you some more interesting driving characteristics as well.
It certainly does. Exhilaration is the word. When it comes to the dials, nice and clear. You've got everything that you need. You've got your economy and all types of things on the infotainment as well as Bluetooth and DAB and everything else you expect in an infotainment system. Media controls on the steering wheel. Driving at night's very good in this as well. The headlamps, they perform admirably considering the height of the car, because normally a low car might likely agree. You don't get much of a throw, do you?
Yes, you get a really nice throw, really good view of the road.
Yeah.
And being automatic as well makes them that bit easier.
And bright enough. This is a bit different to the MX-5 we drove last week and the 124 Lusso.
Ooh.
Well, he shook his head at us because we stopped and didn't want to hurt our little Abarth on the side of a Transit. Basically, you're setting up to be a racing car, aren't you?
Well, that's it. When you go through all of the Monza exhaust, the Brembo brakes, and the Bilstein shocks, it sets up this recipe of a car that's, well, it's definitely fun to drive.
Yeah.
It's not Ferrari fast, but, well, I think...
It feels a downside quicker because of its height.
Seats are also very comfortable as well.
Yeah.
And even at 6 foot, I've got enough room in here.
Well, it's 6'3", look.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I have headroom, I have legroom. Okay, I'm not going to be lying down, but I don't want to be lying down. I want to be engaged in a car like this so I can do that kind of thing. Woohoo! Oh, I wish we had this car for a 6-month review, I really did.
From what I've heard, this is the only red one in existence at the moment.
Yeah. That's something, isn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, all round, the Abarth 124 GT is absolutely staggering in its looks, its handling, its capabilities, and its tech, surprisingly.
I don't think there's anything more I can say there. It is just such a driver's car. What's our verdict of the 124 GT?
Well, do we really need to say it? I'm sure the review actually spells out what we both think of this absolutely staggering 170 horsepower beast.
It's an absolute driver's car. It is so much fun to drive, And, well, I really do want one.
Yeah, it's an animal. I mean, people would be like, oh, you couldn't drive that as a daily. Well, I'd be happy to take on the challenge, I really would.
Well, that's it. It still has cruise control, automatic lights, automatic wipers, climate control.
Heated seats?
You know, it is a very comfortable car to use day to day. Okay, you can't fit a wardrobe in the back or the entire family.
But did we mention it has a carbon fibre roof? And that is real carbon fibre before anyone says, no, it's imitation. No, it isn't.
And you can take that off in those summer days and use the soft top.
You can, but you'll look the part anyway like this. It's absolutely immense. And this car retails for, I think it's just over £34,000.
If you're in the market for a sporty two-seater roadster,
With an immense engine tone and exhaust and puts a smile on your face a mile wide.
it's a car you buy with your heart.
It really is. And it's the perfect celebration of 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. We're actually now at 1,123, aren't we, Michael?
We are. We're so grateful for all the support over the last year or so.
Yeah, it's been immense. And what a car to celebrate with.
For more great impartial car reviews, please subscribe to Planet Auto.
Also, if you have any questions about the car, please leave them in the comments. Thank you.